So this is a remedial video on the difference between phenotype and genotype. So if we say phenotype, this refers to the external appearance of the offspring, something that is observable, something that we can see. Examples of phenotype are the following: tall plant and a short plant, curly hair versus a straight hair, round seed and wrinkled seed, yellow seed and green seed. So these are just examples of phenotype. Meanwhile, genotype refers to the genetic composition of an offspring. So there are two types of genotypes. You have the homozygous, and the other one is the heterozygous. So when we say homozygous, the alleles or the pair of factors are the same. So they are the same or they are identical. So when we say homozygous, the alleles are identical. Example, we have here homozygous tall. We have homozygous round. And we have homozygous yellow. So if the letters are both capital, representing the pair of factors or the pair of genes or the alleles, these are said to be dominant. Dominant are those that will appear in a particular cross. So all these capital letters here are dominant. There is also another type of homozygous. We're using the small letter. So this is homozygous short. This is homozygous wrinkled and homozygous green. So again, if we say homozygous, the alleles or the pair of factors are the same or identical. It can be dominant using the capital letters, or it can be recessive using the small letters. So let us try to solve problems in monohybrid cross. If we say monohybrid cross, it is a cross using a single trait only. Let us try to solve this problem on monohybrid cross. So let's make a cross between heterozygous tall. So we have here heterozygous tall cross with homozygous tall. So you look at these examples here. We are using the heterozygous tall, wherein one is written in a capital letter and the other gene or allele is written in a small letter. It is crossed with homozygous tall. Both of the genes are identical. So let us try to solve this monohybrid cross here. Heterozygous tall is crossed with homozygous tall. So what will be the possible outcomes of the cross? We will only pair the genes. So we will pair the tall with another tall. So we will just combine the two factors. So that will be tall. Then number 1 will be paired with number 2. So this is another tall. Tall because if the dominant factor is present, it follows that the phenotype is also dominant. Then the third one, number 2 with number 1, this is also tall. And the fourth offspring, number 2 paired with number 2, this is another tall. So what will be the phenotypes of this cross now? Wherein we made a cross between heterozygous tall with homozygous tall. So we have tall, 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 and tall. So 100% tall. So all the pea plants or all the plants are tall. What about if both parents are heterozygous tall? So the male plant is heterozygous tall. The female plant is also heterozygous tall. So what will be the outcome of the cross? So again, you will just pair number 1 with number 1 gene. So the phenotype of this is tall. Number 1 with number 2. So this is another tall. Number 2 with number 1. Tall. And the last offspring is short. So the first offspring is tall, but the genotype is homozygous tall. The second and the third, the phenotypes are tall, but the genotypes are heterozygous tall. And the last offspring, this is homozygous short. So what is the ratio between tall and short, or what is the phenotypic ratio? So the phenotypic ratio, or the PR, is equal to 3:1, meaning there are 3 tall and there is 1 short, or we have 75% tall is to 25% short. How about the genotypic ratio, or the ratio of genotypes? So how many homozygous tall? We have 1. How many heterozygous tall? We have 2. And how many homozygous short? We have 1. So the genotypic ratio of this is 1:2:1. So let us try another problem. So what will be the phenotype and the genotype of the offspring if we cross a homozygous tall parent? So the male parent is homozygous tall, and the female parent or female plant is homozygous short. For homozygous tall, which is dominant, we are using the capital letter T, while the homozygous short, we are using the small t. So again, let us pair number 1 with number 1. So this will be, the phenotype will be tall. Then number 1 with number 2, the phenotype would also be tall. And number 3, yes, very good, it is tall. And the last offspring is also tall. So what will be the phenotypes of the offspring? So all the offsprings are tall. How about the genotypes? So number 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the offsprings are heterozygous tall. So very good. All the offsprings are heterozygous tall. And the phenotype is also tall. All the offsprings are tall. But the genotype is heterozygous. So this time, let us try to solve a problem on appearance of hair. When 2 parents are heterozygous for genes for curly hair are crossed, how many of their offspring would have curly hair and how many would have straight hair? So both parents are heterozygous for curly hair. So if we say heterozygous, we use the dominant and the recessive. So capital C and small c, this is heterozygous curly. And the female or the mother is also heterozygous curly. So the father is, let us try to make a cross between heterozygous curly hair cross with another heterozygous curly hair. So what would be the appearance of the hair of the offspring? So just the same, we follow the same rule. We cross number 1 with number 1, number 1 with number 2, number 2 with number 1, and number 2 with number 2. So what will be the appearance of the hair of the offspring now? In number 1, it is curly, correct. In number 2, it is also curly. Number 3 is also curly. And the fourth one is straight. Straight hair. In this particular cross, how many would have curly hair? So the phenotypic ratio of curly hair versus the straight hair is, we will only count how many are curly. So 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 curly hair. How many straight hair? There is only 1. So the phenotypic ratio is 3 curly is to 1 straight. How about the genotypic ratio or the ratio of the genotypes? How many are homozygous curly? So we have 1. How many are heterozygous curly? We have 2. And how many homozygous short? We have 1. So the genotypic ratio of this particular cross is 1:2:1. Did you get it now? So you answer the rest of the activity sheets on monohybrid cross.